My name is Hara Ziuvara, and I'm a pediatrician and neonatologist in Athens, Greece. I'm a volunteer doctor at Doctors of the World Greece, Médecins du Monde, since 2010. I'm a member of the board since 2015, and currently I'm president of the board since 2019. I was born in Montreal, Canada, for Greek parents who were actually immigrants themselves trying to escape fascism in a very difficult political period in Greece. I grew up in Montreal and I had my first education there. But when I was 12, I decided to come back to Greece. So partly I can understand what immigration is and feels like, because I experienced my parents' immigration from Europe to Canada, and then I experienced my own immigration coming back from Canada to Greece. So when it was time for me to choose, I decided to become a pediatrician, initially in the hospital and after in my private practice in Athens. But this was never enough for me, because in the end of the day I realized that helping only by working or being paid for it was never enough. So I needed something that could make me feel more complete, and I needed to be thrilled by something. The trigger for my volunteerism in Doctors of the World was a TV spot of this organization, which I saw after a very hard hospital day for me. So the next day I called Doctors of the World to get some information, and from the information I got, I realized this was exactly what I was looking for since years. And to be honest, I think that it was always inside me, almost innate. The warm welcome I got from this call made me feel that I could actually be a part of this huge humanitarian project. And this is the way my love story with MDM, Doctors of the World, started since 2010. And this is the way volunteering changed my whole life. I started helping at one of the polyclinics in Athens, working with people who did not have access to basic healthcare, medication, and basic needs. So it was a period of crisis in Greece, first the financial crisis, which led a lot of people to unemployment and desperation, and the refugee crisis followed, which meant that thousands of people, thousands of refugees were crossing the Aegean Sea, coming from the east and trying to escape war and find a better life elsewhere. Unfortunately, this is an ongoing tragedy which the rest of the world has mostly forgotten. The COVID pandemic has made things worse, isolating ourselves and these people even more. One of my duties as president of Doctors of the World Greece is to remind the rest of the world this endless refugee drama through international summits, just like the UN Refugee Week in New York a few years ago, which I attended personally. At Doctors of the World Greece, we never stop highlighting the endless refugee issues. On the contrary, we are still supporting them, and we are showing this by our presence in Lesbos Island, which is the main entrance point from the east, and also in other parts of Greece where refugee camps unfortunately still exist. But this was and is only one of our challenges. Through the years, we have to face many other challenges, such as poverty and its consequences in the Greek society after the financial crisis. Our mission as an NGO since 30 years is to be wherever people are in need. On an international level, there are multiple challenges to deal with, because we are part of a huge humanitarian organization which has 70 chapters in Europe, North, South America, and Asia. Of course, humanity is always facing new challenges every day. For example, the COVID-19 pandemic came and brought a turnover in our lives on a social, financial, and personal level. But despite all this, at Doctors of the World Greece, we remained active. We never stopped working, even though it was very hard for us to work due to social distancing. But we remained in the field trying to help people, and currently we're part of a big campaign, vaccination for COVID-19, and trying to help people in our settlements, trying to help people getting vaccinated in the refugee camps, and wherever people are who do not have access to the public health system. Another major challenge is, of course, climate change, which is already here, making its presence more intense and sending us a message of the upcoming dangers. Probably in the near future, we will also be facing an environmental migration flow due to the unhealthy ecosystem, with critical consequences for the future generations. I strongly believe that the key word is resources, human and financial. So as you understand, financial support from the people and constructive collaborations are crucial to keep us going and offer humanitarian aid. So this is the way to be part of it in our team starting from today. Because empathy, solidarity and equity must be in our lives every day, and not remember these words only when we have to face huge disasters. If you need more information about our programs and future initiatives, you can find it in our website and social media. If you agree with our mission in trying to make the world a better place for all, you can do it in many ways, because without each other we cannot make this happen. Volunteerism is not only being in the front line, it's mostly supporting by donating. And this is something we can all do. So, let's make it happen together. Thank you.